Hi, I'm David Hamilton. I'm a forager and author of a book called Where the Wild Things Grow. And it's a book about foraging anywhere and everywhere. And to illustrate that point, I've brought you here to Greenham Common. Now you can see behind me the control tower. It's from here Britain's nuclear arsenal would have been deployed had the conflict escalated with Russia during the Cold War. Now gorse flowers have a beautiful kind of pineapple or coconut, little hints of almonds in there. It's great for a salad. You can use it just as a little addition to a salad. It makes a really nice vinegar, so you can add it to vinegar. The flower buds act as a caper, so you can pickle those in a sweet vinegar. One of my favourite things to do with them, however, is just to infuse them in a sweet water and have it as a cordial. It's a very useful plant, and as you can see on acidic soils it's extremely abundant. We're not far away from Greenham Common now, just on an industrial estate on its perimeter, and I've taken you here just to show you how many more unusual places there are to find wild food. Now here's something really unusual. It's April and there's this plant in fruit. You can see this berry here. This is an Elaeagnus abingii, or the jelly bean bush as I like to call them. Now these are at their best when they're vivid red. I've seen them in town centre plantings, outside hospitals, that kind of thing, anywhere that needs a good quick growing hedge. Now the fruits are the interesting part, and these can be made into a jam. They make a good fruit leather, so they're mixed with a sweeter fruit like apple or blackberries, cooked up, and then you squeeze that through a sieve, dry it out on a sheet, so you can either do that on a dehydrator or a low oven. And like the sort of chewy bars that kids get, yo-yo sweets that kids get for school, you can make them into those. You can make them into sort of leathery fruit strips. And we've got another interesting plant here. So silver birch. You see these just about everywhere. They're a common pioneer species, which means one of the first in an area. And now it's April, so it's spring, and if you can see these leaves, they're still quite light green and a nice salad leaf. So I'd use it in conjunction with other things in a good mix. But the other really interesting thing to do with a birch is to tap it for its sap. So before the leaves come out, before the buds even burst, so you're talking about late February, early March, so just as the snow ends in areas that have snow, the sap starts rising to feed these leaves that are going to come out. And you can tap that sap by putting a hole in the tree. So you use a drill, you put a hole in the tree, you pop in a little plastic tube and put that into a bottle. Leave that overnight. That will fill up with the sap. As the sap rises, you're just tapping it out. That will fill up, and then you can reduce that down over time and stop halfway and make a really nice, refreshing, sweet drink, or keep going, and then you end up with birch syrup, and that can be used just as you would maple syrup. To prove you can forage everywhere and anywhere, we're in this urban park, and there's this lovely display of primroses here. Now, you might be more used to the yellow ones that grow in the wild, but all primroses are edible. It's just the flower part that you want. These are great in salads. The yellow ones look great on a chocolate cake. It contrasts well with the brown. Or you can add them to ice cubes. So you put them into water, freeze them, and drop those in a Pimm's. And they're quite delicate and floral, and quite delicious. Or another location is here by this riverside, and there's loads of edibles here. The first one we've got are these bramble shoots. Before they're prickly, lovely taste, quite buttery. And then moving along, we've got some nettles here. Now, even if they're not fresh, just the top parts of those are edible. If you grasp it quickly, it won't sting you. And the nettle has a beautiful nutty flavour, like a spinach, but much more flavour. And if you cook it, the sting goes. And then next to that, we've got some hogweed shoots. absolutely delicious, blanched with a butter and lemon sauce. Then we've got is this sticky weed. Now you can make a stock out of those. Just spotted something else, some rather small looking ground ivy. This makes a delicious tea, or you can chop it up and use it as a herb in a baba ganoush, so a nice aubergine dip. But that's just in this one small area. I hope this film has showed you that there's wild food absolutely everywhere. You'll find much more information about the plants mentioned in the book. I'm David Hamilton. Thanks for watching.